Take a seat.
Valerie, you're in a somewhat different business. You're in the motor trading business, and you do it internationally. So how are you being affected?
Yeah, I'm Valerie from Pinnacle. I'm in the car business. We are actually doing, locally we are doing new car and used car retail, but a major part of our business is actually in car export. Looking at the local market today, it is, because local is like customers coming into the showroom, buy a new car, buy a used car, and they are very dependent on financing. So I would say lending is a challenge today. You know, where banks used to lend 80%, 90% of a car purchase price, today we're looking at like 60%. I think it's also similar where the property is concerned, the property market is concerned. It's somewhat the same to me. That's one challenge. And another one would be, because most companies take cost reduction as a strategy to survive and sustain during this time. But we do not want to cut costs for the sake of cutting costs. You know, we do not want to reduce for the sake of reducing. We have to ensure that the initiative we are taking on, which is the cost reduction initiative, has to be in line with the strategic direction of the company. You know, we do not want to cut today, lay off today, and then 6 months down the road we're like, oh, you know, we are stuck. Where are the people? So that's two. Basically, I also believe there are opportunities in today's market. Yes, it is gloomy. You know, the economy is raining, but I always tell my guys that, you know, we got to move on in the rain, because why? The sooner you get used to the cold, the faster you are moving on. That means you just have to go ahead. Yeah, and I think basically for me, I believe that moving around it is not good enough. We got to move well within the current situation. Yeah.
David, the marine industry, it's well publicized, had been badly hit by this crisis. We had a headline, a front page story on NOL, doing layoffs, 1,000 people. But I'm sure different companies, different parts of the industry are hit in different ways. So how is your particular part of the industry being hit?
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Vikram, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I feel very humble sitting in front of you and trying to say something where I believe that most of you should know more things than I do, because every one of you is a winner. Anyway, I come from the ship repair industries, which is very closely related to the shipping business. As you just said rightly, that 2 days ago, NO has actually retrenched 1,000 people. Probably some other shipping company will follow suit. Being in the ship repair industry has some advantages. First of all, ship has to keep on moving to carry cargoes. And as far as tourism is concerned, we are not so greatly affected, yes. Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. One is this crisis happened at the last quarter of the year. And I think because of this performance momentum actually will be carrying us through until end of the year. And I don't see there's a big drastic drop in our earnings. But I definitely have no illusion that next year it will happen. Because as you know, that once the consumer start to tighten the belts, there'll be less trade between countries. That means less cargo to be carried. That means less money to repair. So I foresee that starting next year, we will see quite a big, drastic drop in our business.
The logical question that follows is, what kind of changes or adjustments are you making in either your business model or your company to deal with this kind of situation? Chung Chun, I would imagine, as you mentioned, that there are a lot of like structured products have gone out of the window. Nobody wants to buy these things anymore. So I don't know, but if you can just say how you can change your offerings.
In our case, for our company, we actually don't deal with most of the structured products that have gone into trouble in recent times. And ours tend to be the relatively simple to understand sort of product, equity fund, fixed income fund. Or to me, I'm actually, if I think in terms of the medium to long term, I'm actually somewhat happy that some of these products have gotten into trouble, because I personally tend to have some problem with the way some of these products are marketed, because sometimes you actually, or quite often you actually find that the way they're marketed, it borders a bit on sort of trying to mislead investors a bit so that the sales will come in, right? For us, I guess mainly because I come from a investor background. I'm a very active investor myself, or dedicated investor, should I say. And I believe in simple product, just go for the medium term, long term, and you buy a right price, adopt a right strategy, and you'll benefit well in the long run. And a lot of these products these days are quite complicated, so that they can tell a more sexy story. So I think some of these changes, things that the industry will change going forward. For us, I would say that we won't really be seeing any major shift in terms of direction. Our direction has been quite clear all this while. There are two main parts of our business. We are firstly an online unit trust distributor that sell unit trust directly to consumers. The other part is where we act as a platform that support a whole list of companies, particularly financial advisory firms that deal in unit trust products. So that part of those business model will continue to move forward. All right. I see the tough time as a chance for us to actually basically make some changes that will make ourselves more competitive in the medium term, in the long term, because you actually find that when things are booming, you're just rushing to meet customer expectation, customer demand, and or even employee expectation. And sometimes you don't really have the opportunity to make adjustments that will ensure that the company remain competitive in the long run. But now that things are slow, it's good for us to actually take the chance to make some changes in processes and so on, and we emerge from this thing a lot stronger.
I know your business is very high end. It's or the image of it is that it's only very rich people can afford it. People with lots of money, people with lots of discretionary income. I would guess that there would be less discretionary income going forward. But I think people still need to stay well. I mean, that's probably even more important now. Yeah. So how would you tweak your business?
Firstly, actually, our target customers are actually...
Sorry, Chen, this is a question directed to...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Annie.
I'm sorry.
Actually,
I'd like
I don't
mind
you to go
because I
that
can
as well.
just sit here and relax.
Please. No, sorry, we're not
really
going to let you relax.
I just want to come here for fun. You know, it's the world is so stressed, and I don't need it. We don't need it extra.
Yeah,
So
right.
Anyway,
So
my turn.
Your turn, yeah.
You can't escape.
Can't escape. Anyway, well, I think this is not going to be the last crisis, and perhaps many crises in the past that it was way before I became CEO, and but for any crisis, first thing that you really should focus is ourselves. And I think you've got to stay very strong mentally and physically. I guess because we're in the fitness industry, I emphasize on that. But most of the time, all of you can think back that you really neglected yourself. You got to love yourself enough to love others more, to have more passion for your business. I think that is the fundamental part. In today's world, people just don't even think about it. And you build so much wealth, but in the end, you're not fit, you're not healthy. You got to stay in the hospital. That is very sad. So your company also need to stay flexible and healthy during crisis. But it can only do that if it has a fighting fit CEO. For us internally, we have taken opportunity to improve our efficiency, such as hiring a new financial controller and other staff to revamp the current system. And also we work with consultants recommended by Employer Alliance and Spring Singapore to prepare ourselves to be more competitive and efficient. Well, we are very fortunate that we have very reliable bank called Jimmy Lee, our chairman. Actually, he has agreed to extend the credit lines at the end of the year if we do well. I hope we do well. But at the same time, we do have some plans for expansion in Indonesia and Thailand. But unfortunately, due to the crisis, we got to be rational and put on hold for a while. But it doesn't mean we won't do it. Of course, we have to look at and review our inventory level to reduce, in fact, and which is supposed to support the expansion plan. Also, for those of you who are really hedge your bets, I think should go and work on feng shui with a very good master. I really think this is a point of time that is important as well. Perhaps can make things flow smoothly as well, and we've done that honestly. And for the other questions you mentioned, that how we cope, because we sell very high-end exclusive lifestyle, so-called, and that is really forced into consumer discretionary category. But this crisis actually pushed us forward to diversify our business, going to consumer staple business, which is we decided to go into healthcare. Not being a medical people, we had to find a medical partner. So I'm so glad to announce that 2 weeks ago we have launched Singapore's first gym in government polyclinic at Woodlands. So this is a joint effort between us and a national healthcare group for the Highlanders. So this is again from very high end to Highlanders. This is definitely not a feel-good type of gym. It's rather a rehab and for the beginners, for the deconditioned, but with holistic wellness approach. So for those of you who are deconditioned, perhaps I think most of you here are deconditioned, you may wish to join us there if you stay nearby.
Annie, what does deconditioned mean?
Well, maybe after this can go and run with me and I will let you know what is deconditioned. So I think this is emphasized again about yourself and how you put yourself together and to be strong. And when crisis comes, and this is about, you're talking about 60 years, biggest crisis in history. So what would you do first? I mean, the crisis right now, because people become panic, they lost confidence, and of course, for most of the CEO or decision makers, they lost their mind how to make the decision properly. I think this is very important. And as you know, exercise can make you happy. I don't know. You got to try. You really have to try. Better than alcohol and cigarettes, honestly. So therefore, go in and try it. Because you don't try, you just don't know.
That's true.
And, this is a part of life. There are a lot of other things in life. It's not just about crisis, it's about money. We love money, and there's certain stage and the level you got to put yourself down and look at yourself and your family and spend much time with them and rest well. I think that's very, very important. And at the same time, besides the medical gym that we diversify into, we also work with the Council of Third Age to introduce a fitness program for the senior citizens. This is actually, in fact, it's a result-driven program which will take in place end of this year. So whatever we do, we want to have certain measurement. It's not just about go do exercise, It's not just about that. You've got to have a result. Just like your business, your shareholder will ask you for result. It's the same thing in life for your health. And also we work with the National Health Promotion Board. I'm better with this, to try to remember all the local terms. And we actually work with them to promote health and help the working populations to keep fit in a mass workout in the public locations. So these are the things that we help, not just for the old folks, help the Highlanders and also cross the board as a working populations, because you want your staff to stay fit as well, not just your company. Yeah. We also help them to promote, put the program together in this CD, which is presented by a Health Promotion Board. Of course, they didn't pay me to promote this. But anyway, I brought a couple of souvenirs just for the panelists, and including you.
Thank you. Well, I think there's some important messages there. We've got to, despite all this crisis going on around us, we've got to take care of ourselves. You've got to go to the spa. we've got to decondition when we find out what that means.
Take a seat.